Okay, so I'm offline because I guess I didn't see this until I got off stream, but I want to talk about it now so I can get it up for tomorrow. But this is apparently Andrew Tate's his response after his BBC interview. I reacted to it. I put it up there, and it's very interesting the response that I got because a lot of people are very upset. People saying things along the line of, "Oh, Papa God, I expected better of you, but you're just too woke and afraid of getting canceled by the woke mob," referring to the bad things Andrew Tate has done, despite the fact that I've linked all the resources and him admitting it in the description and saying that I did that in the video. But I guess that's not enough. Realistically speaking, your most charitable opinion, if you're operating with facts to Andrew Tate, is that based on his own words, probably did it. But maybe he was just goofing around, and we'll see how the court goes. That's your best point. That's it. Like I'm not asking you like a question. That's that's if you want to be a sane, balanced person based on all the available information. That's your perspective. If you don't have that perspective, that's fine. But you're coping for some reason. And that's fine. But what I find interesting is that it's like this situation where if I don't agree with you, then like it's a conspiracy theory where I'm selling out to woke ideology. I mean, every other day somebody complains about, some take that I have. It's too conservative. It's too progressive, blah, 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 blah. I'm not, if I was selling out to the woke ideology, I wouldn't have sided with City Bike Karen in that situation. Or rather, let's say sided. I mean, I did generally side with her, but I wouldn't have spoke out against the ridiculous narrative that she's like this terrible person. I wouldn't criticize people like Ethan Klein or whatever. You're just, you don't hold up. What you're saying doesn't hold up. It's your cope. You're not mature enough of a person to have a disagreement with me without having to be a conspiracy, because that's what it is. It's a conspiracy that I am just appealing to woke ideology. It's immature. It is childish. Grow up a little bit. It's fine that we disagree, but stop making it out seem like there's some kind of magical force behind it. But it makes sense that you would believe that if you love Andrew Tate, because you think that there actually is a matrix holding Andrew Tate back when he's admitted to being a bad person. But okay, let's see what his official statement to the BBC is, guys. Whoa. He should have just ended it there. Now I believe him. He's innocent, guys. Holy moly. With those beats?
Oh, snap, dude. This guy's cool.
In the interest of saving absolutely everybody's time.
I'm sorry, it's just so funny because he had somebody edit under like music underneath it, like very lowly, that's supposed to be kind of like almost inspiring Viking music, and it's just kind of funny to me. Like, listen, it's like a low horn. They're like,
I feel like doing a generalized statement to all legacy media inside of the Matrix.
oh shit.
And I'm doing it to save
What about the legacy media outside of the Matrix, bro? What are we gonna do about them? We gotta take care of them too, dude.
their time and mine,
Yeah.
as well as protect the minds of the masculine youth
The masculine
for the future.
Yeah.
I want to make it very clear that the legacy media, which I enjoyed the company of today, have made a massive mistake and missed a chance to do some genuinely interesting journalism.
They pushed you on the things that you said, and you just denied that they existed, and it's insisted that Romania is falsely imprisoning you because they haven't filed formal charges, even though the way that the system works is in Romania, which you intentionally went to take advantage of the system. So it's kind of funny. But the way that the system works over there is that like they have enough evidence to detain you, to have a trial that would be worthy of a trial. They have enough to say, we have a case to present. That's it. You went there because you bragged about taking advantage of the laws or whatever over there, and that's fine. You do you, but these are the laws that you took advantage of. You wanted to engage in government corruption. You wanted to be able to pay your way out of speeding tickets. You wanted a country that had less prevalent Me Too movements, and yet here we are. So
After being unfairly incarcerated in a Romanian dungeon, I thought that even the BBC...
I was unfairly incarcerated in a dungeon. Like, people want to cry about this take, but you were there for, like, what, months? You came out looking pretty shredded. We saw the shirtless video after. You wouldn't have maintained that without proper nutrition and the ability to work out. At the very least, you would have needed the proper nutrition point. So, it's all an act. It's an intentional act. I was in a dungeon. Yeah, you were probably fine. It seemed like you were fine. You had access to food, possibly PEDs, because hey, listen, nothing wrong with, you know, once you get a little older, your test starts to go down. You gotta subsidize that, and you had the ability to work out. So you probably not really in this horrible dungeon-esque state that you claim to be in. But you know, I mean, I guess, you know.
In its absolute arrogance and hubris, would be smart enough to come to me after 6 months, being the first interview I gave to the Matrix. And be smart enough to ask questions people were genuinely interested in.
Wow. Like,
what's it like inside of a Romanian prison cell?
My question would be, why did you sex traffic those women? I mean, why did you, that's my biggest question. Why did you get those, promise a bunch of girls that you would marry them and be in a relationship with them and shower them with this, that, and the other thing, and then bring them over and then use your, what you say, bottom bitch to get them to submit to sex work, even though like more than 50% of them never wanted to do that or never did it before you? What about that? Like, I want to know how you pulled that off and bragged about it. Talked about how you had to have sex with all of them. Talked about how you treated them so uniquely like prostitutes. Like, oh, and I know a lot of people love to say like, no. Back in the past, we used to treat prostitutes great. No, stop watching. You're watching weird like 1950s or 1920s mafia movies and stuff. Like, it's not how that was. So yeah.
How were you treated? Why was a person's liberty deprived of them for 6 months without charge?
You're a sex trafficker.
How was your mental state post your unfair incarceration? Things people are genuinely interested in hearing.
Not really.
But instead, they came with the same old talking points. And I'd like to address all the...
Asking you about the bad things you did. It's not really an old talking point. You can't even get past those.
Talking points to the Matrix media now to prevent this happening again. Because it's a monumental waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
I say things on the internet.
Me too.
I've been making content on the internet for a very long time.
Okay.
Finding a clip from 2016, 8 years ago, finding videos of you admitting to sex trafficking. There's no real timestamp on that. You know what I mean? So, it doesn't matter how old it is. You're bragging about it. What are you talking about? Hour-long podcast from 2016, ignoring all context, ignoring everything positive I say about men and women in the world, and taking a single sentence and trying to pretend that's my entire worldview is not the bombshell you think it is.
Yeah, you got me.
Nobody cares. Everybody understands what satire is. Everybody understands what a joke is. Everybody understands it's the internet. Everybody understands all of these things.
Okay.
Plus, the people who know the truth of my message are very capable of understanding.
Well, the same people that it's came out that you don't even respect, you think that they're all idiots for falling for it. And they're still all over your shit, even though that has come out that you don't respect those people, that you think that they're a bunch of losers. They still defend you because you're right. Because odds all true. We have the fucking transcripts of him trying to rizz up a girl, telling him he doesn't fucking give a shit about any of the people that like pay for his program. So,
and what is satirical and what is true. People are not as stupid as you'd like them to be. Sitting down with me. And missing the chance to have a genuinely interesting interview with genuinely interesting questions that people are interested in hearing the answers to. And instead attempting this attack to get this bombshell aha moment is never going to work. Because one, I'm too smart for all of you. And two, nobody cares. Nobody cares I made a joke 8 years ago. Because everybody knows I was joking. And everybody knows the truth of my message.
That's not the issue. But
so you're wasting absolutely everybody's time. Worse than wasting everybody.
I like that he's saying that he's the victim of this matrix that is manipulating all the framing, but also everybody that's in the matrix, they don't actually care about anything that's happening. They don't really give it. And he's right. People care less and less about what's going on with him because it's just boring at this point. We just kind of know he did it. Basically, you know, if you have an intelligent frame of thought and you've just looked at the things that he's said, like you could tell that he did it. People are just like, okay, yeah, that's bad. Like bad guy, like whatever. A lot of people are just kind of tuned out, moved on. They don't really care anymore. Because of that, because they could just tell, like you tell, based on the way that he's been speaking, that he's this bad guy, you know. So, everybody's time. What you're genuinely doing is damaging the minds of young men, and I think I have a responsibility as one of the most influential men on the planet to protect the minds of young men and all of the men who look up to me. Nobody, no young man below the age of 30 has any interest in what the BBC or the legacy media say. They don't care and they don't watch it, unless I appear on there. So when I sit across from a reporter who says that having a nice car makes you a misogynist, it's disingenuous. And also, well, that's not actually what happened, though, right? She was talking about the framing of the things that you say that are disrespectful to women, where like you mock women who lost their ability to go to university in other countries, saying if they're so strong, why don't they just fight to get it back? You know, these are the things. I know that he wants to frame it and minimize it, but it's like boring. It's tired. We all know that he's a dishonest person. we kind of just get it at this point. You know what I mean? We get it. You're just not honest, and that's okay. It's okay to be a little silly goose, you know?
So, also, the financial success with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
How does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach. I find that to be extremely dangerous rhetoric. I find that to be extremist rhetoric. And I think it's very dangerous for young men to think if they work hard for something in their lives, if they dedicate themselves and they're diligent and hardworking and they try hard, that they'll be a bad person. I hate the idea of a world where a man who dedicates himself to excellence so he can enjoy the finer things in life is criticized and ostracized and called horrible names purely because he's been a hardworking male. And I don't like young men hearing these extremist ideas. And they're only going to hear these extremist ideas if they watch the BBC, which is an extremist organization. And they're only going to watch the BBC if I talk to the BBC. So I feel like now that these people have proved themselves to be extremist and very damaging to the minds of young men, I have an obligation to not interact.
I thought you said that none of them cares. So like how I don't which one is it? Are they damaging or does nobody listen to them? I'm confused.
Very much. Because I don't want them spreading their extremist propaganda. We have a men's mental health crisis. Young men are disenfranchised. Their suicide rate amongst men is much higher than women. And everybody pretends to care.
Well, when I come the attempt rates are actually higher amongst women. Men just use more meaningful, effective methods, like, you know, because women are concerned with things like vanity. So they'll take pills, whereas men will, you know, they unfortunately use shotguns. But there is a mental health crisis for men. A lot of that manifests in the fact that we have a lot of single fathers, which is going to just be exacerbated by young men who watch, well, this guy. You're going to, just because of the way that he talks about women, then justifies male cheating. And pretends that he's religious, and he really just weaponizes people's religion, which is what he does. It's just kind of the fact of the matter. He weaponizes, you know, the religion of Islam to try to justify his bad behavior over and over and over again, and people, again, they eat it up. They think he's somehow being genuine, but he's not. So
along and say, I am a man. I've been a man. I know how it feels to be a sad man and a happy man, and I found happiness through masculine achievement and strength, through working hard in the gym, through dedicating myself, through building a life worth living, through taking care of the people who I love, both male and female, through becoming financially successful, through sticking up for myself, through having opinions, through being a man of honor and courage. When I do these things, I'm ostracized, and they're attempting to destroy my life. This goes beyond a few media interviews. They're attempting to put me in jail and destroy my life because I am helping young men. They don't care about men's mental health. They have no interest at all. In fact, the ideas they purport, like I've just explained, are genuinely damaging to the mindset of young men. On top of this, they waste everybody's time.
It says the traitor. Hold on. Okay. It says the traitor is why it's so important to see men cry on TV. That by itself is apparently destructive to men's mental health. Now, listen, I don't think that we should be glorifying crying, but it's okay for men to cry. But like, what's funny here is he's making the assertion that it's not okay for men to cry. But that's one of the things that damages men's mental health, is that they don't think it's okay to cry. And then they keep hearing that if they do cry, that they're somehow less like of a man, even though there's times to cry. If, you know, somebody passes away in your family or something, it's an appropriate time to cry. And then that comes with really just the fundamental conversation about expressing your mental health in a positive, strong way, which can sometimes be crying. Like I said, you shouldn't be crying at everything. You'd be like a little baby if you're doing that. But it's okay, and it's appropriate to cry sometimes. And the fact that you're downplaying that, like this, you're why people are killing themselves. Like your perspective is why people are killing themselves because of this, because of the no, you're just trying like somehow it's dangerous to tell men that it's okay to cry in some capacity. This is what I'm about to cry right now because I'm going to lose this fight again. You're the problem. You are the problem here. Like that's the reality of the situation.
Because their aha moment never works. Yeah, nobody's interested in it. And I destroy them with ease. But my hourly rate is high. It's not very fun for me to do. I just do it. It has to be done. But I don't particularly enjoy it. I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world. And we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal. And if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous because I don't owe you.
I loved the framing where he's like, I let you into my home and you're disrespecting me. But it's like, well, you couldn't do it anywhere else. You're on house arrest. So like that's... So it's like, yeah, no shit. Like, of course they did it in your home. But you had no choice in the matter. You had to do it there because you got nothing else going on. But okay.
Questions and you answer.
But I don't owe,
however you
no,
want.
this is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. Okay. So let's make that clear. And that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor. And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you about things you've said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine. But you're not going to sit here and say you don't answer my questions because you're not above me. So.
Okay.
In the interest of spreading good and positivity in the world, which is my number one objective, I am making this clear to all legacy media outlets. I will no longer interact with you for free.
Oh no.
Nobody cares that you lie about me and nobody cares what you say. You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly lying about everything and continuing to lie about.
Jesus Christ, I'm going to have to. Hold on. Sorry, I just wanted to finish that. All right, let's see what you say.
You have destroyed all of your credibility in the last 4 years of constantly.
The FDA finds Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine safe and effective in younger kids. Well, that's true. I mean, there's always going to be like potential side effects to anything, but it's considered safe.
Lying.
How do we know COVID vaccines are safe? Okay, that's a question. That's not a. Okay.
About everything.
COVID vaccines are not linked to excessive mortality. Yeah, they're not. I don't understand. I mean, you want to link them to it. It's because people get COVID. I don't know. I don't know. There was massive excess death rates. I think we lost 1 million people over 3. There was like 1 million more deaths in the United States alone over 3 years, based on our excess death rates, because we keep lists and we keep track of death rates over since the 1950s, I think. So there was a lot of death related to COVID, but okay, this is apparently, I think it's just from Andrew Tate's perspective, is like anything that's COVID is like obviously just a conspiracy, even though it's simply not. But
and continuing.
2 years after COVID vaccines rolled out, researchers are calling for newer, better options. Okay, yeah, that's good. We should have newer, better options, especially since the vaccine has evolved. I mean, the COVID has evolved, but okay.
To lie about me will only.
What did that didn't prove anything. Those were just like, oh my God, oh he's so right. Oh my God, he's so right. COVID was real, bro. I lost family to it. I lost people that I worked with to it. Like I worked during COVID in a very COVID heavy area. Like as far as like I was a manager for a bus company. I managed the cleaning crew. It was our responsibility to clean them. People were dying. I just like, this is like a fact. I know you want to assert the opinion that COVID wasn't that bad, but you're objectively incorrect. Rich guy who never has to go outside. Of course he's going to say that. And yeah, of course, part of it said he's healthy and you should be healthy. It does help. And obviously I am fat, but the reality is COVID exists, and people who actually produce value to the world outside of myself now and Andrew Tate, like, bus drivers, people that help people to get to work, or help people that have, some kind of a disability, get to like dialysis or wherever they need to go. People, truck drivers, people, fast food workers, or but anybody that helps push forward society in a meaningful way, other than online provocateurs and fucking psychopaths like Andrew Tate, they had to work in it, and it was real. So what's the government conspiracy? They wanted to do COVID for fun, to get control over people. Okay, I mean, if anything, there's a conspiracy to make us fat. That's more controlling than COVID. But okay, sure. What?
Destroy your credibility further.
Okay.
I have an.
I mean, there is an issue with the credibility of mainstream media, of course. Like, let's not deny that. Absolutely, there's a real issue with credibility, but that doesn't mean you're credible. Like, yes, mainstream media tends to sensationalize everything to such a massive degree to make money, of course. But COVID still existed. But conservative media does the same thing. Like, they do the exact same thing. They sensationalize things to make money. It's happening all around us. It's not just, and he only showed progressive articles. But okay.
Tate Pledge, which you can see. Go to corporatate.com and click at Tate Pledge, and you'll see that I dedicate $25 million a year to feeding children, both male and female.
Well, maybe that's true. Also, you're not a good source of information because you're a lying sex trafficker. But okay, cool.
In war-torn countries.
That's awesome.
I would like to think that even the legacy media can agree that feeding children in Sudan, or Turkish children after an earthquake, or Syrian children in refugee camps is a pretty positive thing to do for the world.
Sure.
In my last BBC interview, she tried to spin it and say that what I'm doing is somehow negative because I'm only doing it for myself. But this is the level of delusion these people operate under.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
Sure. I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong. Tate Pledge is funded 100% by me. This is my personal money. But I believe if the legacy media is intent on spreading hate, intent on spreading extremist ideologies, which it seems they are, not only the extremist ideology that men shouldn't work hard, but also a bunch of other ones, which I don't need to mention because most thinking people understand what the legacy.
Saying men shouldn't work hard. I don't understand. Nobody's saying that. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Who's saying that you shouldn't work hard? I don't get it.
Media is trying to report on not only the population, but the young children of the world. And what they are trying to push is far more damaging than me saying you should go to the gym.
Oh, yeah, gay people. Yeah, fuck, I forgot. Like, I guess Tate is really just your average conservative at this point, crying about drag. Who cares? Just don't bring your kid to a drag show. It's not that big of a deal. Some gay kid reading whatever book is, who cares? Not for nothing, but there's more abuse in religion than there is going to be from a drag queen. You can cry about that as much as you want, but it's a fact. I mean, there's literally people use religion to oppress gay people, trans people, but also women and children. There's a whole systematic level of abuse within the Catholic Church. I'm sure that there's plenty of issues with Islam as well. I wish we're considering in some countries you kill gay people. I imagine that's a pretty big issue. So, like, are there inappropriate drag shows? For sure. And some kids are going there because, you know, their parents are silly. There was the one, I think the best one, and it's good to criticize some of these things, but the best one to criticize was that that drag show where the intention was to bring the mother would go there and they would go with their kids because they couldn't get babysitters, and then they would do the drag show for the mothers, but the kids would be there. I don't find that appropriate, but it's not this magical dangerous thing. You sex trafficking women and having a negative impact on the mental health of men, and destroying men's interaction with women. You're worse than drag shows. That's the only thing conservatives have to talk about. It's just a misdirect. And it's honestly, it's boring, it's lazy, and it's tired. Like, get something new. Complain about something real. That's actually an actual problem.
Therefore, I no longer have any interest with interacting with legacy media for free because I don't want their extremist views shown to young children without doing some good for the world. My fee from this point onwards is $50,000 and a box of chocolates.
Okay, so the real reason, most likely, that Andrew Tate's going to charge is because no media has really any interest in talking to him anymore. And he wants to make it seem like it's him, like he's making the decision. But there's really nothing interesting or productive out of Andrew Tate. There's really nothing you're going to get out of there. So they're probably just like, okay. He's like, I know people aren't going to want to talk to me anymore, so we'll just do this. Or he knows media wants to talk to him, and he's setting like a price that's ridiculous. Just to, because he doesn't want to talk back to them because he knows he's going to be made a fool of. So his idea is like, okay, if I charge them $50,000, they won't pay that to talk to me. And so now I get to make the excuse that, oh, they didn't want to pay to talk to me. It's their fault. They don't know my worth. When the reality is he just doesn't want to talk to them and he wants to give make an excuse why they wouldn't engage. You know, you understand what I'm saying, guys? You get what I mean?
That is what it is going to cost you to speak to me. If you are from the Matrix, you will give me $50,000 in advance, which will be donated to Tate Pledge, which will be used to feed children in war-torn countries.
That's cool, man.
And you will also bring a box of chocolates to my gate, which I will ingest as I listen to your Matrix propaganda and destroy you. Because I deserve chocolates if I have to put up with you. I am an extremely successful man, and my time is valuable. And you're wasting mine, yours, and everybody else's. So if you're going to come along with your extremist ideas, I would at least sleep better at night if you were feeding some poor, innocent children somewhere in the world. But you have no interest in doing any good for the earth. You're only interested in spreading hate, unlike me, who wants to do good things. So, post my BBC interview, I've been contacted by the New York Times, CNN, the Clinton News Network, all of them. And they're all desperate to interview me because they understand the number of views it will get. I want to try now. I want to try now. And they all want to try a different version of the same aha moment. Not understanding because they're completely detached.
I want to try a different version of just asking me basic questions and watching me fucking spiral out of control as I can't answer them. Yeah, incredible stuff.
From reality, that it's not an aha moment and nobody cares. They're not interested. They're not smart enough to look at the board of the chessboard and say, this isn't going to work. Let's ask him questions people actually care about. They're not that smart. So if you want to waste your time and mine, that's what it's going to cost you.
Sounds good.
$50,000. I managed to procure meals at around 80 cents each. So we'll feed over 60,000 children for wasting an hour of my time, plus a box of chocolates. That is my fee from this point forward. I will still speak to non-Matrix media outlets who are interested in the truth, interested in asking.
He wants to talk to alternative media outlets because then he feels like he could just lie and say whatever he wants. It's kind of funny because, like, listen, on the one hand, absolutely, you know, mainstream media does lie, and we know that. But on the same hand, they're much more credible than like most, or really any alternative outlet. Whether you want to hear, listen to that or not, it's kind of just a fact. It's just kind of the truth, man. I don't know what else to tell you. It's that's life.
Interesting questions that people want to hear the answers to. I will still be available to do my own podcasts and tell the truth. But as long as legacy media retain their reputation as peddlers of extremist ideology, I no longer have any interest in promoting them and making them relevant. It's better we allow them to become irrelevant, which they are doing, through their own dishonest actions. I will no longer interact with any of you for free ever again. So, to the 64 journalists who have emailed me so far since the BBC interview, do you have $50,000 in a box of chocolates? Because I'm not interested in speaking to you for any other reason.
Wow.
I actually think I'm being quite kind only charging 50 grand. I should charge 200 grand.
I agree.
But I'm a nice man. And $50,000 will still feed a lot of children. I promise any legacy media outlet that pays me the fee can have an interview. And I also promise to provide full accounting and receipts to prove that that money goes directly to charity to feeding children in war-torn countries. But I will no longer allow the Matrix propaganda machine to infect the minds of innocent children by using my relevance to achieve interviews and get views they would never normally get to spread hateful propaganda.
Super base, brother.
If you can't afford me, you're gonna have to go back to just lying about me without speaking to me. Because God knows the truth, I know the truth, most of the world knows the truth, and I genuinely believe that Allah is the best of planners, and whatever happens to me, regardless of whether I am martyred, regardless of whether they put a bullet in my brain, I know what I have done is good for the world, and the things I will do will continue to be good for the world. Huh? Get your checkbooks out.
Okay. Yeah, get your checkbooks out, guys.
Don't email me at all, because there will be no compromise. I don't care what you try and do and say to goad me into an interview. You can lie about me all you want. It's what you do already. I'm not afraid of your lies. It's going to cost 50 grand plus a box of chocolates.
Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. I mean, that was definitely worth the watch. Thanks, Andrew. Really cool stuff.